the assembly of the SWP-4000. First, we'll do an inventory of tools and parts. In terms of tooling, a couple of Phillips screwdrivers, power drill with the proper bit, with Phillips bits would be very helpful. Pliers and 5/64ths, 5/32, and 3/16 Allen wrenches to remove screws. We have the pump motor, the thrust washer that's going to go on the motor. We have a lower housing assembly, which includes the diaphragm, the valve housing assembly, which includes the full moon and half moon outlet valves, the 3 inlet valves, and the race O-ring. Then we have the pump head itself with the internal O-ring and the 2 outer O-ring seals. The 3 screws that attach the pump head to the motor assembly. We have the 3 springs and poppets that make up the bypass assembly, which will be placed into the pump. Then we have our lubrication here. Dow Corning 111 is what we use to lubricate the O-rings. We'll explain that a bit later. Pump lid, the pump canister, the stainless steel screen debris to hold back debris. All of these 3 pieces stainless steel. Stainless steel nipple with the 1/2 inch and the 5/8 of an inch hose barb dual outlet, and the screws that will hold the canister onto the pump itself. We also have 2 wire sub-assemblies, we have the grommet already placed there, and the wire which has been placed into the this is the anti-wicking sealing plug for the cables. The black and the red have already been inserted with this Allen screw here. We're going to place those in a moment, and I believe the only thing I missed was we have our 3 plug seals for the pump head. So having said that, we will begin the assembly. We'll first place the thrust washer onto the shaft of the motor. As such, there's no, it can go one way or the other. Then we're going to put the lower housing assembly onto the motor, making sure that the keyed internal part meets the keyed shaft. And as you put it in, you match up the keying, and then you move the lower housing around until it sets into place. Proper alignment will be important here. So you can see the cables that come back out are going to come up and fit into these 2 slots that have been placed in the lower housing assembly. You can also line it up with these 2 notches here, with the point of the triangular part closes in, and it lines up with the holes on the shaft in the center here. So now you know you have proper alignment and proper seating of the lower housing assembly. Next we will take the valve housing assembly, and we're going to place that carefully on top of the diaphragm and seat it into place. So you push it in firmly. That's in place. Proceeding with the pump head, first thing we'll do is we'll take the internal bypass springs and poppets, and as you place them into their holes, there is a locking mechanism at the bottom. When you push them in firmly, they will snap into place, as shown. They can be placed in any order. All 3 of them are the same. Okay, now the internal bypasses are in place. Next, we will make sure that this O-ring, the internal sealing O-ring, it's very important that that stays in place. As you're taking the pump head and putting it over on top of the motor, you want to make sure that that O-ring does not fall out to be pinched. So we take our Dow Corning 111 and we apply generously some lubricant on there. That will both lubricate and it will hold it into place, literally sticking it into the pump head assembly. We also have already applied some Dow Corning 111 on the outer sealing O-rings. So we're going to bring our pump head. You see, as you turn it over, you want to make sure that that O-ring stays in place. That's very important. You can slightly tilt the pump head, the motor pump assembly, and you see the pump head slips on. You will have your proper alignment will be based on the 3 bolts
and the holes that allow the wire to come through.
Now make sure that the these two holes here and here line up with the notches on the lower housing assembly, because we're going to thread our wires up through there and out through the pump head. But you see where we're placing the hex screws, one there, and we'll place the third
in the center.
In a moment, in the center, right there. With the 5/32 of an inch Allen, we're going to hand tighten these. And as you're tightening them down, you want to go evenly, or tightening evenly through across, or cross tightening. As such, these are quite a bit of thread, so you will be doing this for a little bit. But you can see we are trying to cross tighten to have an even fix.
Clamp up. Yeah.
Okay, just place it as you feel most comfortable. Looks like we have that bolt is secure now. Once again, we've already lubricated the outer O-rings with some Dow Corning 111 to make sure that they can, as you place this whole assembly into the canister eventually, it will all slide in smoothly and create that seal that we need. So we've hand tightened firmly.
Final torque.
Do a final torque in here.
Final torque. You want to make sure that the joints are all flat.
Okay, we do want to make sure that the joints are all flat and the lower housing assembly is
clamped up tightly.
Clamped up tightly, evenly with the pump head. So now we're going to proceed with the threading of the wires through the slots in the lower housing assembly up into the pump head. There it goes. Alright, so we've managed to get our wires through into these locations. Now we're going to take our pump head sealing plugs, if you will.
Which have a lubrication on them.
They also have lubricated O-rings with Dow Corning 111. We're essentially plugging the 3 locations where the hex nut bolts were tightened, just to make sure that on the top side there is a plug preventing liquid from touching them. Then there's a stainless steel outlet nipple that just presses into place.
O-ring seal.
And we're going to place our mesh screen, and you can see the little slot cutouts on it. Those are going to help you with the alignment with the tapped holes. These are the screw holes where the screws that secure the canister are going to go, but these are the tapped holes here.
Okay.
You'll have one on each side.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to proceed now with our wire interconnection. So the anti-wicking plug, you want to make sure you, of of course, tie red to red and black to black. The anti-wicking plug can now be secured with the 5/64 wrench, and we're going to put the wire into the anti-wicking plug, and there's a little Allen that you will tighten.
Firmly tighten.
Tighten firmly. Secure that crimp, if you will. Black to black in the same manner. Okay, so we've secured our cables. We will now apply some more Dow Corning 111 onto the O-rings on the anti-wicking plugs. Very important to be able to thread through. I'll do a little extra securing, tightening of the Allens. I want to go back up a little more. No, that's good. Okay, plugs go into place and the grommet goes on top. You can see the black grommet just plugs into the unit.
Okay.